I pushed that thing straight into my mouth.
That's a way to start.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, is there any other way to get it started?
Amen, brother. Amen.
Guys, how much should a hobby cost?
As much as you're willing to spend.
What does that mean?
I think hobbies are good for people. I think they help people relax, do what they want to do. You know, they're using their mind and using their skill set to kind of improve on something that they're doing clearly for themselves and not for any profit. I think that's a cool thing that people can do. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I'm a terrible person to ask. I don't have that many hobbies. So
I feel like you have tons of hobbies.
Like what?
No, maybe you
Train.
don't. Maybe you make. Well, that's the thing. When does a hobby then shift over
Well, he
to
also
not being a
works
hobby
at the same
anymore?
place where he does that. You.
Because I would say working out was a
Well,
hobby.
he goes from work to work. Then he comes. No, you play video games.
are you about to call me a gamer right now?
No, I said you play video games.
This is true. It's true. I do enjoy
I don't know
video
what it would
games.
take for me to. Maybe if you beat, maybe even this game, Elden Ring or something. If you beat one of those games, I would consider you a gamer.
What's Elden Ring?
It's like Dark Souls.
Have you ever beaten one of those games?
Same company that made Dark Souls made that.
But have you ever beaten one of those games?
No, I don't have an interest in it.
Why not?
It's
It's the same writer of Game of Thrones.
I don't like dying that much.
It's
So
fantasy.
then are you a gamer or do you play video games?
I play video games.
So how come Matt has to beat one of those games to be a gamer, but you don't have to beat one of those games to be a gamer?
Do you consider video games one of your hobbies?
Okay. Yeah, I don't. Only every once in a while. It's not a consistent hobby. Because I haven't played video games in like 5 months.
Do you consider watching TV?
Well,
to
no,
be a
I have
hobby?
played. I played on the PC. What was that?
So do you consider watching TV to be a hobby?
I consider that passing time.
What was the difference?
A hobby I feel like I would enjoy more. Like when I watch like every week they put out a new episode of Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
and then like I feel like that is something I enjoy doing. So I love Star Wars, and Star Wars is considered a hobby for me. So
How is Star Wars considered a hobby for you?
Because I actually learn about it, look into the lore, learn about the lightsabers and all the different Jedis that were in the background of Attack of Clones and what happened to them in the Revenge of the Sith.
So learning about it is a hobby?
Having an interest that isn't for profit.
Watching TV is having an interest in something that's not for profit.
So I mean, I know a lot of people that just watch TV just to pass the time. You know?
Yeah, but there are also people that
They put the TV on there on their phone for an hour.
Yeah, but there are also people that like watch movies and like dissect the movies and stuff like that. I would consider
That's a
that
movie though. That's not like TV.
I feel like you could do the same with a TV show, can't you? Because how else do you
Yeah,
come up with
I
all those
mean,
crazy conspiracy
There's
theories?
people that like
What
make
crazy
the
conspiracy
video
theories?
essays and
Like
stuff.
Rugrats, like all those like Courage the Cowardly Dog, all the conspiracy theories from like TV shows. Someone has to come up with that stuff.
Or Ed and Eddie.
Yeah, what's
That
that
one's
one?
a sad one.
What's that one?
It's like they're all, I forget if they're like drug addicts or something, but it's like just that's all they can remember. It's just repeating memories in their head, but they only go back to their childhood because I guess like their present life is so bad.
But David has a lot of hobbies.
You do, but I don't know.
Why?
David has a lot of things that I feel like you have hobbies, but you also go to the extreme with all your hobbies.
For a
So,
little
like,
while.
Yes.
And then they simmer down into then being just another part of my toolbox.
I feel like that's just like a natural human thing. It's like you have these things, like we did vlogs for a while, right? And you love doing them. And then we got into a different thing, right? After that, I think we got into the podcast. And so, were we a little worried that we wouldn't make it past week 3?
1,000%.
Maybe, yeah. But we did. We do on week 84 now. So I would say we're doing pretty good. This has become a part of our schedule, But also I feel like you're acting like you've done like two shows at one time. Like that's a lot. That's a lot to do for a normal person, and to do this and to now be on Twitch.
But sometimes I make money when I do
those
shows. So is it not a hobby when I do that?
I feel like that's different. It's not like you're gonna live off it, I feel like there's a good pool. But yeah, I mean,
So
if you make money with your hobby, awesome.
Is
But
streaming a hobby?
or I feel like it could be more. I feel like it's more of just like a community thing. I don't know. I don't know if that's considered a hobby or just like a way to be social.
What about this podcast? Is this podcast a hobby?
Sometimes. Other times, not so much.
I don't know. I feel like hobby was being defined kind of as, until Dalton said like learning about lore and stuff like that, it was, hobby was creative. It's something, or if not creative, something active.
Like gardening and shit.
Yeah. You're taking up, which kind of goes with why you're saying watching TV is not a hobby. It's just passing time because you're not actively doing something. Yeah, that's like a passive activity.
I guess I contradicted myself.
No.
In a way.
What I was saying was in support of you.
Oh. I kind of got lost when I was talking, so that's fine if I did.
But you don't think that sinking a certain amount of money or something, sinking money at all continuously doesn't give it that weight that then pushes it past a hobby into something else? I don't know what, but past a hobby which is supposed to just be enjoyable.
I feel like it's the same as like thinking, okay, we all like to work out, so we're going to spend all this money to make a gym in our garage, you know? So you spend thousands of dollars putting a gym setup in your garage. Is that still considered a hobby? Yeah.
But then
You're doing it out of your free will.
But then say you stop wanting to work out and you've spent $1,500 on this gym. Isn't it going to make you, or say you start getting bored of working out, but then you're like, I've spent $1,500 on this gym. I need to keep working out.
For me, I'd just sell it if I was done with it. I don't think I would have that much of an issue. But I could see a lot of other people being like, well, it's here. I have to use it. You know, I could see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask this question to. But
we know one thing that a hobby created. Me loving to make weird versions of songs of things.
David, roll that intro. I'm Drumm.
I'm Drummer.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Week 84.
Week 84, guys. That's 8 plus 8 times 2 is
That was
42.
16 times 2. You're off by 10.
32.
Yep.
That's 32 plus 30, 62, plus 20, 82, plus 2, 84, guys. Week 84.
And as always, we're your hosts. I'm Drumm.
And I'm Drummer.
And this is a podcast about brotherhood and the 3 S's: storytelling,
Supernatural,
and self-improvement. Dalton, how's your week going, dude?
It's been a week. It's busy. It's frustrating. It's one of those weeks. So getting through it, a little tough. But I'm doing it.
Have you ever been to one of those smash rooms?
I've been wanting to go to one, actually.
That'd
be
that.
dope.
You know who wouldn't go to one of those rooms? Ernesto's dad.
Why?
Because he feels bad for the furniture and the things inside the room.
Does he really?
I swear.
You've had this conversation?
Yeah, I had this conversation because I brought it up, and then Ernesto told me, he's like, yeah, my dad would never go. And then I asked him, and he goes, oh, no, all of that hitting and stuff, it's like bad energy. I was like, interesting.
Do you agree with that?
Not at all. Not at all.
I do.
It's bad energy to hit things?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that letting go of that bad energy? It's a release?
Yeah, from you, but if you believe in karma, it's just going to come back.
Like the bat's going to hit me in the face?
I mean, that's a high possibility.
Not if you hit it hard enough.
Not true.
What are you saying? Explain your side of this.
I'm saying if you take a bat and hit something really hard, the chances of it coming back and hitting you
No,
in the
I'm
face
talking
are
about the meaning
very
of the furniture, Matt.
I don't know. I just can see how like you're letting out the aggression on these objects. And I can see an argument where, there's bad energy being released. What goes around comes around.
I don't understand that. Okay. You're not putting any bad energy towards an actual thing.
Well, what do you think?
I think it's a good way to let go of stress. You hit things, you get your anger out. It's better on something that's not alive or living than something that is. Like if you killed an animal because you wanted to and then like didn't use any of it, like I feel like that would be considered bad karma because like you killed something for no reason at all and it's just gonna sit there and rot. And that's no way to deal with a life, So I can understand that being bad karma. But furniture that doesn't do anything and it's just trash,
But it's a destructive act by its own nature.
Destructive act that, like, in a safe area, you know? Are you going to say anything? Or are we not talking?
No,
I'm just listening.
Yeah, he's just
There's
listening.
nothing to say.
I mean, he it's a destructive act in a positive, safe environment.
Yeah, no, I think there's a place for it. I can see the argument for it being like that. Just because, like, you know, everything's made up of atoms, right? And so if we're atoms, like, I wouldn't hit you. But I wouldn't want to go hit a table because it's the same thing. So I think that's where Ernesto's dad's, like, thought process is coming from. Is, like, it's just what goes around comes around. Like, what you put out, you get back. And so, but I understand your argument of it being, like, a positive release of, you know, frustrations or emotions or something like that. So
What do you think, David?
Do you think that can be avoided at all, or do you like?
I think there's a sense of overthinking when it comes to breaking furniture.
But when you're breaking furniture, I think so. If not breaking furniture, how do you manifest that excess anger or frustration or whatever?
Wim Hof.
Wim Hof?
breathe it out.
Honestly, Matthew told me earlier today to have, like, a Wim Hof session.
Can you explain what Wim Hof is for people that don't know?
Well, it's not Wim Hofman. It's Wim Hof. And basically what that is it's this man that likes to jump in cold-ass water and breathe really fast and then stop breathing for a minute or two and then keep breathing. And you feel great after. So he has this breathing routine where you breathe in, or even into your nose, like, yes, that's me breathing to the mic. But it helps. And you do it for, like, a minute, and then you stop breathing for a minute, and you just sit, and then you do it again for, like, a minute, and then you stop breathing for, like, a minute 30, and then you do it again for a minute and stop breathing for, like, a minute 30. And after you do it those 3 times, you finally, like, release everything. You're breathing in positive energy, releasing bad, right? And then after that, you kind of wiggle your toes, get yourself out of it, open your eyes, and it's insane how everything just looks so beautiful. Like, your whole view changes, everything changes, but you feel so alive. You feel like you're human again. You have more energy. It's one of the best fucking feelings in the world. I love it. I love it. Haven't had time to do it too much this week, so Matthew reminded me to do it today, so I did it, and I felt great.
It's based off of this old ancient technique of meditation that the monks used to do, like, back in the day, and it's kind of like the modern version of it. Basically, this guy, he's known as the Iceman because he'll do this type of breathing where you're essentially oxygenating your cells, like, a lot, right? And so he goes through these rounds of meditations, and then the next step is, like, you go through this, and then you're supposed to go take a cold shower or go jump into, like, this cold water, and it helps you regulate your body temperature so you can understand how to control that a little better. And they've even done tests with him where he'll go and he'll lay down, and he has this this study where they inject him with, like, a virus to give him a fever. And through his meditation and years of practicing this meditation, he's able to regulate his body so much that he can literally physically, fight off the virus to where
your
it
body
doesn't affect him.
temperature does change after a while too.
Yeah.
When you keep doing it, you feel colder. Sometimes you feel warmer. I think it just depends on what your body's telling you what you need.
But you always get super tingly.
Mm-hmm.
Like C4 tingly?
My hand twitches.
Yes. Yeah,
For
super
people, it's not the explosive.
Yeah, it's a pre-workout with beta alanine, so it makes you itchy. But yeah, so it's super cool. Really, really good.
I appreciate Matthew showing me that. I didn't realize how much I needed it until I started doing it, and then I kind of just was like, I'm gonna do this every day on my break.
Do you like that better or not as good as your Tibetan chanting meditation stuff?
It's
different.
It's completely different.
Why?
I mean, I feel like meditation kind of calms me down and then puts me in a mode to start the day. I feel like Wim Hof does something similar to that, or it calms me down, but I feel like it's good for, like, a midday thing because you feel rejuvenated. You're back on it. You don't need to take a nap.
So is Wim Hof a physical kind of rejuvenation, and the Tibetan meditating
more
is
of a
a mental
I
one?
feel like the biggest difference is, like, normal meditation, you're sitting with your thoughts. And in this one, it's kind of a guided meditation. So you have somebody talking to you, but you're also counting your breaths. Like, if I found a video, which is why we don't have to count, but normally you're like, you do 30 breaths, On your last breath, you exhale as long as you can, and then you wait until you feel the urge to start breathing again, and you hold it for as long as you can. And actually, today's the first time I had to pause it because I didn't feel like it was challenging enough.
Oh,
So I had to like pause it and wait for a while.
that's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow,
But it's but then like when you're doing like Tibetan Bowl meditation or any other type of meditation where like you sit and you just kind of observe your thoughts, it's less. I don't want to say less interactive. But I feel, yes, I do want to say that. It's less interactive. Like this is more active and the other type of meditation is a lot more passive. So, yeah.
I mean, they both do different things, I feel, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, the Wim Hof kind of sounds how like people would say that swimming was like therapeutic in a way.
Yeah.
Because when you're swimming, all you can do is like you can't hear anything above the water.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I mean, granted, now you have like waterproof headphones and stuff, but you couldn't hear anything. All
I've
you
never
had
tried
was
that.
the
Have you tried
water.
that?
The headphones? No.
What are the reviews are like? For
They were
then
just
you
getting
just-
created when we were in swim because I remember like a couple people had them.
They had the wired ones,
and I
then
just
you had,
remember being like,
waterproof
that's just
thing.
sketchy. Like, I don't want to take electricity and water.
I don't
Hell
know how I
no.
feel about
It's going
that.
to kill me.
I want to read reviews on how those are, though.
You want to read some now?
Dude, I've been wanting to start.
We might, yeah.
I've been wanting to start swimming.
It's I was
you
out
look
in the
for a
beach
pool over
and
here?
I definitely was like, yeah, I haven't used these muscles in a while.
Yeah.
And
Felt
it's,
it?
it's you feel it hard.
Yeah.
But it also gives you the best pump. It gives you a way better pump than any kind of workout.
Ah.
But yeah, because in the water, all you can do is count your strokes, and that's kind of it.
Go that way.
You're not thinking about anything else besides your strokes.
Yeah. But talk about like, I feel like I'm a person that can't have hobbies, going back to the hobby thing, because like I get too competitive.
With your hobbies?
Yes. So, and
So
that
you can't enjoy
Ah.
things.
No, Matt can enjoy things.
I can enjoy things.
You can't enjoy things for the sake of enjoying them.
No, not that. It's just certain things. Like, I don't know. Like, if it's like, if I'm competing against somebody, like, I tend to be competitive. Like, I'm not going to be unnecessarily upset if I lose or something like that. But it's more of like, I obviously want to win. But, like, I realized this, and this might be a bad example, but the other day I was like, okay, my knee fucking hurts. I can't do anything at the gym. What can I do? I was like, oh, swimming might be an option. So I wanted to find like a swimming pool to start, going and
It'll be
swimming
summer.
at, right? So I was looking and I was like, oh, whoa, they have like swimming clubs. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'll just drop into one. Like, I'll fucking die for the first, 6 months, but I'll figure it out. I should be all right. So I started looking at it, right? And then I was like, okay, cool. Oh, whoa, this one does like masters competitions. Like, that would be, and then just downward spiral. Next thing I know, I was basically down to move to Pasadena because at the Rose Bowl Center, they have a swimming pool with an Olympic coach for this Masters division. And you're required to compete twice a year in 2 different competitions. And the quote unquote, it says like, I want to make this swim club world renowned for the swimming. And I was like, sounds about right. That's what I want to do. And then I was like, Matt, hold on. One, I don't want to move out that far this soon. But I was like, also like, that just sounds like a lot of commitment. And luckily now I have the attention to be like, I don't want to do that. But just goes to show like how quickly I go from 0 to like 100. And I've always been like that. I don't know how to not do that.
But if you were able to become aware of that, were you able then to just readjust and be like, I still want to swim. I should maybe try and look for some place that just has swimming.
Yes, but then I also like the competitive aspect of it. So then I was kind of like, okay, I want someone that's not that extreme, but like, I want to do a competition here or there. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
So you did Ollie, which is Olympic lifting for nobody who knows. And you had to do that alone for like 8 months. Why was that? Because I mean, you weren't competing with anybody for that long. There wasn't us going against you. You were just doing it by yourself in the corner.
Because I want to make it to nationals, and that's a goal that I have.
Oh, so it still ends in competition.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's just your thing. Maybe your hobby is competition. Overall,
I don't know. Who knows? All right, what are these reviews?
it's not that bad actually. It's basically the same as like goggles. They just suction up to your ears, and once you get the right suction, no water gets in, and it sounds perfectly normal.
Yeah, but like, is it Is it just synced up to your phone?
Yeah, it's just synced up to your phone, and it just hangs around your neck. It's pretty relaxed. Zero stars ain't an option. So there's a few problems, like sometimes the earpieces that they give you to suction up to your ear don't fit your ear. So if there's like 2 or 3 bad reviews because of that, but not as fun as I would thought it was gonna be. It was definitely better if you guys have time is to look up tattoo pens on Amazon and then look at the reviews of those, because people don't give a fuck about what they put on their body, and that shit's funny.
Some really bad examples. I thought we went over that on the podcast.
I think we might have, but it's a reminder to go check that shit out because it's funny as fuck.
So, dude, a bunch of E3 trailers came out recently.
What was your favorite, Matt?
Dude, Breath of the Wild 2, for sure.
That did look really good.
1,000%.
Yeah, that did look really good.
That's also the only one I've seen.
What about you, Cheese?
Mine was they looked like they had the Elden Ring one was cool,
Elden Ring was really nice.
and then they had and then they had the other one was like Final Fantasy, but it was like supposed to be a Dark Souls Final Fantasy. That one looks super
cool.
weird.
Dark Souls Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Elden Ring?
No, there's another one that's almost exactly. It's like not exactly the same, but it's very similar.
What company's
I don't know.
making
Just
it?
all these new PS5 games look unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
All these games look unbelievable. I feel like
Ratchet
they're still
and
coming out so
Clank.
slow.
Ratchet and Clank looks good.
Rift in Time. That it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm excited for a new Ratchet and Clank game because it's been a while for me. I'll be excited for that. And then I was sad that I haven't seen any Skyrim yet since.
Well, they just released that. They just released that new one.
For the online.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online has been killing it for years. I don't know how they keep doing that. I just lost interest.
Why?
Because I had to play with other people to beat the game, to beat like bosses and stuff, and I didn't want to play with other people. I just wanted to do it on my own. That's what I liked about Skyrim is I was just by myself, just wandering around. I wasn't scared of anything because I just was so like OP. Nothing could challenge me. You know, those are good old days.
Yeah, but Breath of the Wild 2, they have some pretty cool like
It looked like
animations.
they had
with
like
it.
time travel in it.
Yeah,
and stuff
like
that.
you're in the sky a bunch, and then all of a sudden you can like warp through the ground at one point. I'm really excited, but then I just like I love E3. Like last year, Dalton and I got to watch it together in quarantine.
That wasn't E3. You know what that was? That was PlayStation's version of E3. They want to separate themselves.
Oh, really?
They're doing it again.
They weren't going because the whole thing was like
PlayStation didn't
people
come.
could buy tickets to it, so it just became like an expo.
Yeah, so now it's all PlayStation. They're doing it in like 2 more weeks from now.
Oh, okay. Well, I just remember watching that, and like the thing I hate about these things is like it's like exciting for next year. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, coming out May 2022.
But that stuff comes out faster than you think, you know?
But that's also your life when you're like a cheap gamer. You know, you see the game come out and you're like, wow, it's going to be great in 2 years when it's $15 and I can buy it.
No, but I mean, I'll pay the money when it like comes out.
That's not even a thing anymore, though, David.
What?
Like,
If things dropping in price?
like that, like a GameStop version of that dropping in price.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Why?
I don't think GameStop is even a real like big thing anymore.
Hey, bro, they just
For
fucking
kids
killed the
nowadays.
stock market about
For kids nowadays.
4 months ago.
Well, that was for a different reason, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I just don't think that's like what a kid thinks of anymore. Like we always thought we go to GameStop, we'll find the game for cheap, but kids now just buy the games off online, and then it's like the same price pretty much. And you can sometimes get a deal where it's like 10% off, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time you went to GameStop to buy a video game?
I bought you a video game.
When?
Well, we were still living in
Matt
Covina.
Matt only has the digital version now, so he doesn't buy games anymore.
That
And
is
Matt,
true.
Matt actually can't buy video games anymore.
That is true. I feel like there should be an extension though. Like you know, like you can buy like a DVD player to like a USB connection.
I'm sure there is.
I'm curious.
Because I mean, it's multi-use too, anyways, right? It plays PS4 and PS5 games.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, just have it all on one thing. But Matthew has it in his room now, so he's playing it,
Which I feel bad about, by the way.
I'm really proud of him.
I moved it to my room because I feel bad for hogging the TV from our pops. You know, but then like I realized that it's like a 30-minute wait, and then he goes to sleep anyway. So I should just bring it back out. But then now I'm getting spoiled with it on like a small actual gaming monitor. And
he has good frame rates.
And I'm like, damn, this is really nice. But then I feel bad because Dalton's always been very generous with his consoles. Like I've never been not allowed to play them. At most it was like, don't play my file. And then I'd be like,
One time
okay.
Matt deleted my file.
When?
Forget what game it was.
I thought you deleted his file.
I've also done that.
Yes.
It's gone back and forth.
When did I do that?
I can't remember. But I remember you did it, and I didn't talk to you for like 3 days.
You didn't?
No, I was very mad at you. You were hurt by this.
I'll probably bring it back out soon, but I do enjoy.
He's actually enjoying it, though. I've never seen Matthew play video games more than now. So
More than when it's easily accessible in his room.
yeah, he just sits on the bed. He looks all comfortable, and he plays video games.
Dude, I have the best routine. I wake up, go to the gym, work out, come back. I have about 40 minutes before work starts. If I don't have anything to do,
Like
play-
shower or something.
no. This is after all that.
Oh, okay.
And then if I don't
After all
have like emails or fires that I need to put out, then I will play 40 minutes of video games, clock in, get started on the day. Lunch comes around. I've prepped my lunch already, so grab it, eat it, play video games, and then get back to work.
That's a method, man.
It's great. I fucking love it. And then on lunch, I go outside and meditate real quick. It's an 11-minute session. Come back in. Good to go.
You're not the life.
This is not when you're playing video games.
What do you
You
mean?
said you play video games during lunch.
Yeah, but so I'll eat video games, and then I'll take like the last 10 minutes of my lunch to go meditate real quick, get all energized, come back in, finish out the work day, go back to the gym, then come back, and depending on what I have to get done for the next day, I'm usually pretty good at getting prepped. So
Wow.
Yeah,
it's great, dude.
You've been a productive man.
Love it.
Well, speaking of not bothering your pops, it was Father's Day this weekend.
It was.
It was.
Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there that listen to this podcast.
I texted Annalise and I was like, tell your dad Happy Dad's Day and Happy Father's Day.
Nice.
And she
Damn.
was like, why would I do that?
That speaks a lot.
I don't understand that. And then I remembered that she's Lutheran and her preachers are called pastors and not fathers.
Ah.
So then I got mad at her for her religion.
How dare she? Yeah. We just took our dad to Roscoe's and we had some drinks.
Not chicken and waffles.
Not chicken and waffles.
Because there's people
Roscoe's
outside the country that know
Roscoe's
chicken and
famous
waffles.
deli.
How did you
is
like
where
that
we
burger,
went.
by the way?
It was okay.
Yeah.
The mushrooms were a nice touch, though.
Mushrooms were a great touch on the
Yeah.
burger, but
I kind of wish I ordered my own food.
really?
Yeah, because I didn't tell you this part. We scheduled it for 11:30. A bunch of stuff happened. Ended up there early. I didn't get there till 11:27 because I was on time.
You were early.
He was,
I
he
was
He
early.
was early.
But my family had been there for a while already, so they all had ordered food and were basically already pretty much done with their meal by the time I got there. So instead of ordering and making them wait for me, I just ate the rest of Dalton's food and then ordered a beer real quick, and then we left. So,
Yeah. That's okay. I wasn't going to eat all my food anyways.
but then the best part about Father's Day was Dalton got his Wingstop, and then we sat around the bonfire outside with no fire in it, just the pit. And we each had we had ordered 4 different flavors. We had 1 basket of fries, and we sat there like men for like 30 minutes and just passed
words.
around the wings. We didn't say a word to each other.
Except, is that good? Yeah? Okay.
And then we were trying to
That's
figure out which one was we got like a Korean flavored one, and we were like,
Yeah, we got a Korean
which
flavored
one? Was it this one? Was it this one? And then we figured it out at the very end. We're like, oh, that one has like a little bit of teriyaki in it. Like that has to be it.
And the other one was like a Cajun thing.
My only problem with Wingstop though is they drenched it in sauce. I don't know if it was just that day. I don't remember it ever being that saucy.
Well, that was the only one that was pretty saucy.
Yeah.
It was only the hickory barbecue one, I think.
Buffalo Wild
Honey
Wings or
barbecue.
Wingstop?
Wingstop.
It's now Wingstop. It always was Buffalo Wild Wings until I couldn't afford it.
Is it more?
Buffalo Wild Wings is expensive as fuck for
Yeah.
only 10 wings.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, you get your money's worth at Wingstop for sure.
Although there's this wing place up the street called Not Your Mama's Wings, and I really want to try it.
Not your mama's wings.
Whose
I haven't
wings
seen
are
that
they?
place.
Whose wings are they?
I don't know, but they're Not Your Mama's.
Not your mama's, dude.
What'd you do for your pops?
Nothing. We're going golfing next week. So we didn't want to go golfing this weekend because the
hot.
links were going to be ridiculous.
Yes.
No, it's not the most original idea. So most people are taking their father out to golf for Father's Day.
Yep.
So we were like, we'll just move it to a different day, you know? And so I always think it always seems like Mother's Day is, and this might be bad, but it always seems like Mother's Day is
All the
when
hype.
you make the plans Your mom wants to spend the whole day with you. You do this stuff like that. And Father's Day is like, oh, it's Father's Day. Leave him alone. He doesn't want to see any of us. He either wants to sleep or he wants to go, golfing, or he wants to just do his own thing. He wants time to himself, which I don't know if this is just stereotype or something like that, but it seems like that's always the thing. And I know my dad slept most of the day because that's just his favorite thing to do. So, so we went to see Rachel's family.
Okay, cool.
Because then they made food and we hung out there and did stuff. But
cool.
I mean, do you guys think that is the case, or do you think that's
kind of makes sense? At least a lot of people we know, a lot of the dads just kind of want to just chill.
Either chill, relax, go golf, have dinner.
Nothing too hyped up,
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
But my grandma did make some bomb ass like tacos for the family, and they were like the best things I ever had. I'm not a fan of tacos, as you guys know. I don't like them, but she fucking killed it. I honestly think it was the best meal I've almost ever had. It was hands down, like, I can't even compare it to anything else she's ever made. It was that good.
It was better than Cane's.
Yeah.
That's
bro. It was, and you know me,
bro. The other day we came home, and it's me, Dalton, and Monique, and I'm hungry. They're hungry.
But Matt was at a point where he was hungry to where he was grumpy hungry, not like a nice hungry.
I was just quiet.
Is there ever a nice hungry?
For sometimes, yeah. Sometimes Matt's like a playful hungry, which is fun. Like he just like plays jokes, but he like makes jokes about how hungry he is, and like he's going. It's funny.
What is a joke he makes about how hungry he is?
No,
don't give me those little toes. I'm so hungry.
No, he just does things that are like ridiculous. Like he's so hungry, he's delusional. And it's funny to me, but. He also has a thing where he's grumpy hungry. Now, I noticed, this might just be me, but he gets grumpy hungry more when it's around Mo, and I think it's because he knows the decision process that has to go along with this. It's, you want this? No. How about this? No. Just do whatever you want. Okay, how about this? No. That's usually how it goes for most of the time, but...
So I just take her to get Chinese food until she tells me what she actually wants.
And then that pretty much works every time because she doesn't want Chinese food.
She doesn't want Chinese food.
She does not like Chinese food.
So it works. But, we were in that stage for quite a bit. And then Matthew wanted to get...
Oh, I want a king taco.
He wanted king taco, but the line was wrapping around the king taco. It was so long. So I was like, we're not doing that.
Well, what if... I've heard this, and I don't know where I heard it from, but what do you think... And I might have already told you this before, but maybe not on the podcast. What do you think of the idea of there being an app that's like Tinder?
Oh, I love this idea. It's brilliant.
So it's an app that's like Tinder, but it's specifically like synced up to two phones. And instead of showing people, it shows fast food options. And so each of the two people will swipe right or left on the food options in the area. And then once you go through all the options, it gives you the ones that you and your partner have both swiped right on.
But then there's still a selection process from that.
Maybe you keep going in rounds.
Just keep going
until until you've both decided on one.
Or it just goes into percentages.
Into percentages.
You could.
I could probably make that right now.
What do you think about that kind of app? Because then you don't have to talk to each other. You don't have to sit there and like go through it. You've both decided on your own and you've matched. So
but I also think
you both want it.
It takes away such a dynamic out of the relationship too.
I don't think that's a bad dynamic.
But sometimes it's fun to argue about it. Like sometimes it's fun to like figure things out.
Dalton, you're single right now, so I think we'll give you a pass on why you think that's fun.
Maybe that's why I just missed it a little bit now.
So
that's probably why.
So we end up Dalton goes, you know what I want, and I'm like, Cane's. And then when he gave me this look, like she's like, well, I'm not opposed to that, right? Which is
Mo went,
Yep. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So we get in. And we start heading over.
But the whole drive was...
On the ride there, I convinced them King Taco was the option, right? Mm-hmm. I was doing some lobbying, and I got them on my side. And then we get there, and I see the line. I go, nope, never mind. It is not the option. I will eat a chicken.
It was longer than Cane's usually is?
Yes. So Cane's is slowed down, actually. Like,
cool.
It's I think
novelty's worn off.
Yes. So I was like, cool. So we go, and we get in line, and then I'm sitting there, and I'm like, no. I don't want Cane's. Like, I really just, I had it too much.
But he told us. He said, no, I'll get Cane's. I'll get Cane's. I'll get Cane's. All like, but he said it, right? He's like, I'll get Cane's.
I did.
So, okay, we're all getting food from the same spot. We're good to go. We go to order. Matt goes, what do you want? Order something. But first, the lady in front of us ordered everything.
Literally, this is not an exaggeration. She had an 8-minute order. Cane's has 4 things on the fucking menu.
It's not that hard to choose from.
4. It took her, like, she's just sitting there with her hand out the window, just
all you see is a hand move.
Just talking. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I don't get mad in drive-thrus, but I'm like, what? Like, you have 4 options. Like, what could you possibly be asking, you know? Mm-hmm. So finally, we go up. I ask them what they want. They give me their orders. I tell the lady the 2 orders, and then I say that's it. And I hear both of them go, and Dawn's like, I told you.
I was fucking pissed.
And then
I fucking hate it when he does that shit. Because then we're like, oh, now we all have to feel bad for Matthew because he didn't want the food.
I went somewhere else. It was fine.
Yeah, we figured
Anyways,
it out.
So then I asked the lady, I'm like, just out of curiosity, what did that lady order? And she started laughing, and she goes, she was ordering food for a party of like 15 people, and she had never been here before.
Oh, my God.
So it was just a matter of like everybody gave this one poor individual like so many orders and like just get this and that and this and that. She was like, she just didn't want to get it wrong. So I understood.
So just give them all chicken sandwiches.
So then my question is, say you and Rachel go out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys want different things. Do you have a problem going to 2 different locations for food?
I don't. And I think Rachel usually doesn't. But I can't be certain because I don't think we've ever actually done that. But I know that topic has come up before, which is like, I'm not going to get anything. And usually the one that does want it is like, all right.
Yeah.
We decided on this. So we're going to go get it. I feel like usually it's me because I'm so hungry.
So normally I have a problem with that because like I have this like Monique and I like both are indecisive sometimes and like we have a hard time, especially when it comes to food. We'll want different things.
I have no problem going to 2 places.
Okay, I do.
Okay,
this is the problem here. So for instance,
like I have no problem saying like I want Popeyes and Rachel's like I want Del Taco. I have no problem if I really don't want Del Taco or she really doesn't want Popeyes. I have no problem going to Popeyes and then going to Del Taco.
And I normally do. And maybe it's just that like I've never not wanted something as badly as I didn't want Cane's that night. But we go and we get Cane's, right? And then we're driving back. And I had just seen my college friends. I went to a 1-year-old birthday party. And a bunch of my college friends were there that I haven't seen in a long time. So naturally, we start sitting down. We're reminiscing and talking. And naturally, California burritos come up. So talking about that, I was like, fuck. The Cali Bee sounds fantastic.
Is that what you ordered?
Yeah. And there was an Alberto's right up the street on the way home. I'm all hell yeah. So anyway, so we get that. I just really wanted Mexican food and I didn't want the chicken sandwich. So I ordered them the food. They're upset with me because they think I'm just gonna come back here and make a sandwich or something. So then I go. I guess I didn't communicate that I was going to Alberto's.
I think you did. You said no. I'm gonna stop at Alberto's. Calm down. Relax.
Yeah. So then I go and like I get the food and stuff. But like I was thinking about this later and I was like, because normally Monique would be like, it's fine. Just you go there and I'll go here. Which saying it out loud sounds like a completely sane suggestion.
Yeah.
But it bugs the hell out of me. Like, no, if we're going to have a meal, we're going to eat at the same place. Which I think is just more of an internal issue than...
That seems like a more internal issue right now.
Sorry, babe.
I'm glad you're realizing it right now.
But it's good for you to understand it, though.
Yeah, good therapy session.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. Better now than never, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's sit there with that while we take a break. I was trying to decide if we were going to do something or not, but we can take a break.
We good? And we're back.
Boom. Just like that. So right. Quick. So fast.
I have a quick question for you before we go into our segments.
What's up?
Okay, you know how girls are always like, what are you thinking about? And guys usually validly have the answer.
Nothing. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
We have a nothing box.
But is it nothing? I was in the car the other day and I was like just thinking. And I know that if at any point Rachel had been like, what are you thinking about? I probably would have just said nothing.
Well,
and I don't know if it's because
there's nothing of importance. Or like if it's like fleeting thoughts and it's a bunch of fleeting thoughts where like if I tried to focus on any one of them, I could not remember what I was thinking about.
For me, because Monique's been like, no, like, what were you thinking about? Like, tell me. And I'll tell. I'm like, all right. But for me, it's always these really weird thoughts that it's not a weird thought. It's a thought, but it's always this very random aspect of the thought that leads me to the next thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I make these really, really strange connections between different things.
Kind of like how this podcast goes.
Kind of, but
Similar.
but it's also like there's no logical reason for me to go that way, because sometimes I'll have a thought that'll make me feel a certain way, and then the way that I felt from that thought made me feel the same way that I felt in this other situation. So then now I'm thinking about that other thought, and it has nothing to do, there's no logical reasoning other than my personal feeling from those things that connected them together. So how do I explain that to somebody without them thinking that I need to be in an insane asylum like pronto, you know?
Yeah, we do have some weird thoughts. I could definitely see that being a thing.
So it's just less of me, like there are times where I'll literally be like, there's nothing.
Like less of having to explain yourself.
Yes, like I'd just rather not have to do that.
Because instead of the answer being like, oh, okay, thank you, it's going to be, why were you thinking about that?
And I have a lot of those.
And then it could be considered like, do you thought about that because you're with me? And if it's a really weird, bad thought, like, then
you don't think you would think that the same thing? If,
dude,
like,
I've done that.
No, you would think that if you were with like one of us and you're like, hey, what are you thinking about right now? And then we said something, you wouldn't be like, oh, maybe they're thinking about that because I'm here right now.
No, because I don't ever like have an interest in what anybody else is thinking about. Only
so you're
because
just too selfish.
No, only because if you guys want to tell me something, you'll tell me. If you are thinking it and you don't want to tell me about it, then why do I need to know? You know what I mean?
I think that's based on your line of thinking, where if you're thinking of something, you'll be like, hey, did you ever think of this? And then you'll say it. But that's not how all people work.
I understand, but I'm not going to like bother them about it.
It's not how I work.
Will you ask
do I ever
someone?
ask you what you're thinking?
Yes.
When?
I don't know. I'll just be like on the couch.
Well, probably when Matthew looks
I
concerned.
was going to say, will you ask when it's very visible that they're...
Because I can tell when Matthew's doing that.
What if it's a time when they're purposely not making a big deal out of it?
Like, what do you mean?
Like you can tell something's bothering them, but then they're like, no, sorry. They're like making a big show of being bothered, but they won't say anything to you.
Oh, that's just funny to me. Matthew's not that kind of guy, though. So, I mean, if it was Matthew, it would bother me. But if it's literally anybody else, I don't think I would care. Yeah. It'd be really easy for me to feel like, oh, okay.
Like if you were on the couch and Matt's sitting like next to you and he's just on his phone.
That's
and
normal.
you look at him and he looks at you and he just goes back to his phone. And you just keep doing your thing. And then you hear him, he's like and then he throws his phone down.
Anything Matthew does
and he
annoys
just gets up and stomps away. Like you wouldn't be like, "What's up, buddy?"
I'd probably ask him, but it's different when you care about somebody, and then if it's just a friend, like if you did that to me, I'd be like, okay, he probably doesn't want to talk about it yet. I'll ask him later when he's more calm. So I wouldn't bring it up to you. I'd just be like, okay, he's having a day. I get it. But then a few days after, I'll be like, hey, remember when this happened? What was going on? And then if I really don't care about you, I won't care. I won't ask.
Okay.
There's no need.
Cool. Good to know. Just something I was thinking about while I was driving.
Wow.
But we are going into one of our newer segments right now, and that is called Historically Inaccurate.
What is it?
It's historically inaccurate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do I go high? Am I singing high?
You just sing it. I just jump in on a couple words.
Oh, okay.
No, you have a high and a low.
That's going to take way too much brain effort right now. There's no
I'm
way.
too tired for that. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's historically inaccurate with Drumm and Drummer. That was decent.
It was
solid.
decent. It would have been great
Pretty
if
solid.
you did the thing. But anyway, so this is our segment where we have you two who have no knowledge about something give your best account of how a historical event happened.
What if I slightly remember this one?
That's even better.
All right.
Because it means you're going to get some of the points right, and then we're going to watch you try and connect them somehow.
All right.
So this week's topic is Y2K. Now, first off, so I don't even need to go first off. Let's just...
It all started with NWO.
Okay, let's...
From
wrestling.
From wrestling.
NWOs where Y2Ks came from?
I remember it. I remember NWO. They had just beat up somebody in the wrestling ring. and they talked about Y2K and how it was going to be the end of the world.
Year 2000. That's what that means.
Yep.
She said, I've been to the year 2000.
3000.
I know. But
Almost.
I wanted to
Almost.
fucking make
About
it.
1,000 years.
Okay, that makes so much more sense now. I was going with like maybe that was like YG's brother or like something. I don't know. I had no idea what Y2K meant. Even
YG has 2 twin brothers,
or like a YMCA. If it was like a first version of YMCA's, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I like it better if YG had 2 brothers.
2 brothers.
And so it was the second one.
Y1K and Y2K.
Yeah, so basically NWO predicted that the world was going to end in 2000 and that technology was the reason why.
See, that's also interesting because you said NWO, which, yes, is a wrestling group.
But it also
wrestling
stands for New World Order.
Which is what they named themselves off of. But New World Order, Dalton, is
what's happening now. The Illuminati.
Exactly. So keep on going.
Yes. And so basically what was going to happen was...
I don't think you know what's going to happen.
The clock was going to strike midnight. And we were going to go from 1999 to 2000. And then all the lights were going to shut off. And I don't know what was supposed to happen after that, but all the lights were going to shut off.
This is where you guys get to...
So what was going to happen when the lights shut off, Dalton?
You decide what happens when the clock hits...
Well, this isn't my version of Y2K.
Oh, what's your version?
My version of Y2K is... So I kind of agree with Matthew. I don't know about the NWO stuff. And I also think it was NWA. I don't know why you think...
NWA is a rap group.
That's what it is.
NWO was like Kevin Nash and...
Yep.
He's the only one I remember from NWO.
Steiner. Rick Steiner? No.
Yeah.
What wasn't wasn't Goldberg in that? Not Goldberg.
No.
Hulk Hogan.
No.
No.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan was in it in the
I
beginning.
think so.
Right?
I thought Shawn Michaels was.
No. Shawn Michaels was in Triple X.
Generation X.
Generation X. That's what it was. I'm thinking of Triple H.
You're thinking of porn.
Triple H was in Triple X. Oh, no, Triple H was in X. The X, what is it called?
Generation X.
Generation X.
Yeah.
That was a great.
Keep going, Dalton.
I completely lost everything I was gonna say. I got distracted. I'm gonna go with. I guess it's similar to like the year ending in 2000. I only remember this because it's 2012 is that movie that came out about the world ending in 2012.
That's a different situation.
But I'm guessing it's the same concept.
Why?
Because everyone wants the world to end like every 10 years.
But 2012 was like the earth was opening up and splitting, and it was raining,
happening all our
thunder,
lives.
and there was floods and stuff like that. So you think Y2K was the same kind of thing?
I think Y2K was more of like a social thing. Like everybody was worried that technology was going to take over, that AI was going to be ruling our lives by the year 2000 or something. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how the fuck they thought that was possible back then. I mean, it could have been. Who knows?
Yeah, we were supposed to have flying cars, but
we had Nokias back then.
Yeah, we had bricks for phones.
Yeah, we could have used those Nokias as like bullets, you know.
So what Matt says that the lights were going to turn off at midnight on Y2K, and that was signaling the end of the world. How do we go from the lights turning off to the end of the world?
I imagine there being an earthquake, and that's just because I'm from California. So anytime something starts shaking longer than it should, I'm just like, oh, here
earthquake.
We go. Here it is. This is it. Yeah, I imagine there being a giant earthquake and then like a flood, like a lot of natural disasters.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what was going through my head.
Just because it was the turn of the millennium?
Yes.
Or maybe it's just like, hey, it's the year 2000. Maybe it's just like the way they said Y2K was like, you know, like
no, Y2K was definitely a big like
it was like
event.
People thought the world was ending. Like
I was only like 4 years old, so
I remember this. I remember being at grandma's and grandpa's and like I being in school and hearing people talk about like 2000 and like how the world was gonna end. I remember like hearing about it on the news.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
I remember sitting in my grandparents' house and we watched it, and then when it hit, somebody turned the lights off, and then everybody like kind of like nobody like screamed, but everybody got very tense for a second and looked around. I'm pretty sure it was my Uncle Tino, and then he just turned it back on and started laughing or whatever.
Maybe that's why you remember the lights thing so much. Just 'cause that's the only thing.
Thing that happened. Yeah.
So I'll give you more of a hint. it was predicated on technology. Yes, Dalton was right in that sense. But the idea of it came from the fact that most big tech that was being used in like the 90s and stuff like that, all of their dating systems were 6 digits. So it was 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 2 digits for the year.
It would be 4 digits for the year.
Not
Idiots.
these systems. These systems only use 2 digits for the year. So we were going from 99
to 00.
to 00.
So it was like the clock was hitting 0 and it's going to reset.
But
that's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
Reset to what?
To 1 BC, 1 AD.
To 1900.
Was that really what it was?
We were going to go back in time to the 1900s.
That all of technology was going to act as if we was going from December 31st, 1999 to January 1st, 1900. That's what the computers were going to process.
What? That is the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
Is that really what everyone was fucking worried about?
Bro, think about it though. People like you don't understand technology at that time.
But why would it go backwards? What?
Think of all the things that are based on like time. People were worried about the stock market because the stock market was running on time at that point. Like it was like very time based. That was the big one. I remember. They just assumed computers were going to malfunction, and they weren't going to know what to do. So at that point, all of the nuclear bombs and codes and stuff like that were technologically stored. So it hits 99 and goes back to 00. The computer's like, I don't know what to do.
Let's send them out.
Yeah.
And then I think there was like electric grids were going to go down too.
Because they were, again,
and
malfunctions just going to turn off.
You weren't going to be able to contact anybody because you couldn't call them.
This is dumb. I'm sorry.
Why is this
Y2K is dumb.
Why is it
Is that
dumb?
what this really is about?
That's 100% what this is about.
Fucking dumb.
Dude. I think you have no perspective on
no.
this.
I was also 3 years old. But
terror. I remember people being so afraid.
I think this shit's stupid.
Like, it got to me. I was like, damn, like this is like, I'm kind of nervous.
I can't imagine people being terrified of tech. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, because you understand technology.
Yes, but also I wasn't.
You just were talking about how AI is going to take over and rule.
That's what I thought they would think of, but I didn't think they'd think that
that's way too advanced.
technology would malfunction and that would end that's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
It's
Why?
stupid to think that a computer is going to malfunction when it doesn't process 99 to 0 and accidentally send off
Why
nuclear
would that be
bombs.
the problem? It just keeps going up by 1. What is the problem with that? It's simple math.
Because you're not showing a 99 to 100. You're showing a 99 to 0. So does that mean it's gone up or does that mean that it's reset?
It just goes up.
Says who?
The code.
The code wasn't. No one knew what the code was saying.
The coders did. They made it.
Actually, what like were there developers that came out and tried to speak sense? Because I could see like just like group dynamics are super interesting, and being that like when one person in the group gets afraid, like it can like spread to like others in
like
the
a
group.
wildfire.
So I can see it being like collective fear, and then just like these like this one developer be like, no, I promise, like
So
it'll go to 2000.
In the year 2000, people were scared of technological issues. In the year 2012, we were scared of natural disasters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were the differences.
And then
Because
what were we scared of?
2012, the 2012 prediction came from Mayan.
The Mayan
civilization.
calendar.
Yes,
yeah.
but now the Mayan calendar, we got it wrong apparently, and it's actually in 2023 that the world ends or something like that.
Yes.
Something like
I think I heard that somewhere
Yeah.
too.
That's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a new end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So Y2K is a historical poo-poo scooper. Because that doesn't make any sense. Why? It's just simple math. I don't understand why this is an issue. I'm going to talk to Dad and ask him about it because I'd never heard of this. That was a good one, David.
You're welcome. When complicated computer programs were being written through the 60s to the 80s, engineers only used a two-digit code for the year, and 19 was left out to save data storage, save space. And the programmers realized computers might not interpret 0 as 2000, but as 1900. Activities that were programmed on a daily or yearly basis would be damaged or flawed. Banks, which calculate interest rates on a daily basis, might be problematic.
Oh.
Power plants might also be affected. Water pressure, radiation levels. Transportation depends on correct time and date. Software uses electronic programs to tell their machines what to do.
So you're telling me that?
So like nuclear plants we're going to destabilize.
Yeah.
And then no trains and none of like the big
You're
transportation.
going to be able to get anywhere.
But all in all,
nothing happened.
When it hit 12 o'clock, it just went to 0-0.
It did.
It was fine.
Yes. They weren't
Interesting.
sure if it was a big risk of whether or not it was how it was going to be read.
Yes.
They were like,
That's actually, I get that.
They were like, the computer might read it as
Uh-huh.
1900 instead of 2000. And then it happened and the computer read it as 2000.
Yep.
That's crazy.
The computer did count up instead of counting
I wonder how many computers they try to like fix. How many things they try to fix before the year 2000? Like they were like in a rush trying to fix the code.
They were probably frantic.
They were
Oh,
too
yeah.
busy checking out your great granddaughter. So they didn't do any of it.
Damn. But they live underwater and they're doing fine, so it doesn't matter.
But yes, if you want to know more and get the historically accurate version, go ahead and check out your local library or Wikipedia.
Or Google it.
Or Google it.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of YouTube
Or
videos
call
about
Matt.
it. Or call Matt. Or call Dalton.
But
if
just
you
be
want a good
ready
laugh.
for some wrestling talk.
What the fuck is that?
Wrestling talk. NWO.
Like NWO.
Oh, right. Sorry.
We're gonna go into some boys' room now.
Hell yeah.
The boys' room.
And this is our signature segment every other week.
I
Where
really feel like we need to add welcome to. Welcome to.
Or
Yeah,
smoking in.
No.
That's how it goes. It's
Is it?
welcome to the girls' room,
Oh.
the boys' room.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome to the boys' room.
Nice. And so this is where we give our boys some situations and they give their takes on it.
How do you feel when David calls us his boys?
That's fine with me.
That sounds nice.
What if
I
I
like
go? What if I go? Boys.
My boy. My boys.
It's my boys.
My boys. Use my nuggets. My balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I call you my dudes?
Yeah. I like that too.
My homie G's.
I like,
My city slickers.
don't ever call me that.
Okay. We're going to jump right into our first one. So this is a story that's been going on for 2 years now. And the problem is that this girl is a fat girl. And she's always been a fat girl. And she always will be a fat girl. But she tries to go to the gym and be as healthy as she can. I'm going to switch to her perspective. I thought I was out of middle school, but from day one, there was a woman I've come to know who always makes fun of me at the gym I go to.
Okay.
I see her as often as every day to once a month. But every time I see her, she talks to another patron about me, does the blow up cheeks thing while looking at me in the mirror or similar.
Oy.
The worst being right before the gym closed for lockdown, I bumped into her in the doorway to the stretching room, and she said, "Are these doorways getting smaller?"
Whoa, what a
And
bitch.
it shouldn't have hurt me as much as it did, but it did. Now the gym, it was locked down, so I didn't have to see her for a long time. But the gym finally reopened 2 months ago, and she is still obviously using me as the butt of her jokes. However, on Sunday morning, and then there was something that happened to prove that it was still happening.
Okay.
Sunday morning, I happened to run into Angie at Starbucks, pretty far from the gym, and was right behind her in line. Her credit card didn't work. So I thought this might be a good time to maybe show I was more than a person to mock. And I said, "Hi, we go to the same gym. Can I pay for your coffee? Card's not working, happens to the best of us." She accepted, acknowledged that she did indeed recognize me, and said a very sweet thank you. And it made me feel really good that I'd taken the high road.
Yeah.
I just saw her and her friend, who's with her 50% of the time, and they were making fun of me in the mirror behind me by doing the same blown up chipmunks chicks thing. It devastated me, and it's been 2 days. She obviously remembers me from Starbucks. Not only did she not approach me to thank me, much less acknowledge me, as a human with feelings, she made fun of my body, which I have naturally. It made me so hurt and angry because I feel as fat people and women, we are somehow expected to coddle and excuse our abusers. And that's exactly what I did when I bought her coffee, expecting it to be a transaction on both our parts. Now I'm seriously thinking about quitting the gym and just using the one in my apartment building, even though I like this one I go to more. I'm really hurt by it. What can I do to make myself feel better? Sorry that was so long.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh man. Well, I want to say I would love to think that she's not doing that on like she's just like that's like her thing. Like she works out and she goes like maybe like to her friend's like, but I don't know. I don't know. I want to believe her, but also I'm like, is she being too self-conscious that she's noticing things that aren't really about her to be about her?
But I just feel like it's happened too many times to where it's too consistent.
Yeah,
where it's even if it is a coincidence, that's one hell of a coincidence.
So let's take the road where the trainer was making fun of her. What do you say about that?
Either A, tell someone at the gym, or B, go confront her. That's what I would do. Like, if she has a problem, I would just go ask her, like, why, like, is there a problem? Like, this makes me so mad. Like, just, they're bettering themselves. Why the fuck are you going to make it more difficult?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's obvious that they have things to work on, just as we all do. Theirs just happens to be physical and not internal.
Yeah.
So why? Just stop being an asshole. Like, people need to grow up. Like, stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Like, she's actively trying to fix the problem. It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
And so for somebody to do that, like, I want this girl to confront her. You know what I mean? And I applaud her for doing and paying for her Starbucks. But at the same time, she would have been absolutely justified in not paying for it. But then also, too, now she could turn around and say, you know what? I may be fat, but I'm not broke. So do you need me to buy you Starbucks? Like, I would 1,000% use that. Like, it's clear that it did not mean anything to her. So if you're going to confront it, like, I would just use that or go tell somebody at the gym. I prefer for her to take matters into her own hands. Okay. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think she should talk to, her and just be like, hey, like, did I do something to upset you? And just be like, because I've been noticing you've been doing these faces. And and I guarantee you, she'd be like, what? No, I would never do that to somebody that comes to my gym, blah, blah. And like, you tried, you did that. But then you could also just like, maybe record her when she does that shit. Show her boss, get her fired. It's very simple.
Wouldn't you show the gym people and get her kicked out of the gym?
Yeah. Yeah. Or just fucking beat the shit out of her.
Yep.
Beat her to the fucking ground. Ground and pound, baby. Because fuck it. You're going to weigh more than her? Take advantage.
Now, do you think that the Starbucks thing was a smart thing to do in terms of building that bridge or something like that?
I would have done. That's exactly what I would have done.
Because especially with her saying cards not working happens to the best of us, what I've heard is that the way to get someone that you don't think likes you to like you is not to offer them help, but to solicit their help.
I don't know what that means.
Is to ask for their help for something.
So that
because
like
dig into their interest.
Hey, there's a deal for 2 for 1. Can I buy you your coffee so I can get the deal? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think there's ever a deal like that for coffee. Is that a deal?
No, I'm not saying that's actually a thing, but something like that where it makes them feel empowered again.
Exactly. Or feel empowered or soliciting their like a skill set of theirs, because then they've been acknowledged as having this skill set or something. Compared to her paying for her coffee, one puts the girl in her debt, which I don't think anyone likes being in someone else's debt, and 2, a sentence like "cards not working happens to the best of us" could seem like somewhat of an insult. So as good intention as it could have been, I could also see how.
But I think that depends on the delivery, which is the problem with this being a text-based thing. Is like we're reading it, so we were free to interpret that however.
I mean, it could. I mean, like regardless of how it's intended, as we kind of saw earlier, if based on how the person's going to be, what kind of mindset the person's in, they're going to take it whatever way they're going to take it.
Yeah, but it could also be something.
Don't like you.
If they don't like you, then they might just take it as like, well, this person's less than me. Why do they need to help me? Like, I don't need your help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, but at least for her, like, I give her credit for like trying something to build the bridge. It clearly didn't work. And the only confronts her, I wouldn't say move gyms because people move gyms all the time. Like, if there's an issue, just go talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
So
I like it. Talk to that bitch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of being petty. I would say definitely go out and be like, hey, did you get your card problem fixed out?
Yeah,
You
part of
know?
a friend. That'd be funny.
Not even like straight insult, you know, you just got to do a little jab there. But anyway, here's the next one. I went through a phase in middle school, I'm now 25, where I was horribly insecure about my body. I thought I could make girls like me by putting a cucumber in my pants. Looking back, it was ridiculous, and I honestly don't know how I got away with it without anyone finding out.
there's no way.
And I think as a sidebar, we can all say that everyone knew that you had something in there. My girlfriend was at my mom's house, and my mom had given her a hard drive with old family pictures on it. My girlfriend looked through them and saw a few with the ridiculous bulge in my pants. And I think that kind of confirms that, yes, everyone knew, including his mom. And his mom let him go to school with a cucumber in his
How do
pants.
you talk about that? How do you be like,
Son.
hey, I noticed something's in your pants? Come on.
She literally...
giant dick, mom.
And did he use the same cucumber for all the years, or was it like interchangeable?
Probably had one for weekends and one for weekdays and one for his dates.
Can't imagine it getting dirty and gross.
She literally will not stop making fun of me for it. I understand a joke or two, but this has been going on for a week now, and it gets more and more personal. How do I get her to stop?
Ask. Just explain to her that this is one of those memories that you think about in the shower that makes you cringe, like you feel your bones curl up.
Yeah, it's a
and
cringe
you
thought.
Really, like, I'm cringing for this person, like, and you don't want to think about it.
We all have cringe memories that we don't like to remember, and then your brain brings it up randomly, and that fucking sucks when that happens.
Yep.
It's usually, for me, it's usually in social situations. I say something stupid. I'm like, why the fuck did I say that shit?
Oh, no, mine's always in the shower or when I'm driving.
I'm like, when I'm driving, I have those thoughts, yeah.
Oh, Matt,
But I mean, I
why?
always make those mistakes in social situations.
Matt, why
That's when the thing happens.
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
Why?
the whole time, and you can't get off
I'm
it for like 10 minutes.
and then I have to tell myself, like, I can't go back and fix it.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Whatever they think, they
is what
think.
it
I
is.
can't. Like, I literally can't do anything. Just fucking. And then about an hour or two goes by, and then it goes away. Now I'm thinking about all of them. Damn it.
I would be like, just talk.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm just asking.
That's a very simple, like, you say it. If she respects your boundaries, awesome. If not, then maybe we need to figure something out.
Now, how do you think you get around that? Like, if say that his problem isn't that she's laughing at the cucumber thing, because maybe he's like, no, that's funny. Like, I was a dum dum. I don't know. Like, I hated it.
But she's going more personal.
But it's funny. Yeah. How do you make someone recognize that when you're saying like, hey, can you stop making fun of the jokes? And then they're like, but you think it's funny. Like, you think it's funny too, so I don't see the problem.
Yeah, but I like to forget about it and not remember it until like months on end, not have it thrown in my face every single day for like a week.
It's simple. Okay. Talk to her. That's that simple.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a nice, easy one.
That was an easy one.
An easy one.
And also funny as fuck.
I wonder if anybody that
Just a
like
fucking cucumber.
anybody listens to this and then like we read theirs and they're like, oh fuck, like I don't want to like, and then we answer it and they're like, you know what, that's a really good idea, and they go and do it.
And they're gonna put a cucumber in their pants now?
No, like they take our advice.
That's what I'm doing.
I hope so. That's the whole point of this segment, is to
walk around with cucumbers in your pants.
What'd you say?
That should be one of our pictures for our next like little photo
No,
shoot.
we're gonna leave this poor man alone.
We're gonna do that after this is done.
Some cucumbers, bananas.
All right. Sorry for the squeaking. My husband refuses to compliment me ever. So we've been together for 12 years, married for 10, and have a 6-year-old son.
Oh, good for them.
Now, before we were married, he used to compliment me all the time. Then he abruptly stopped complimenting my appearance. Once we conceived our son, he stopped complimenting me altogether and became really critical. He doesn't criticize the way I look, at least, but he doesn't have anything nice to say either. Now, if he just weren't a complimenter, this wouldn't bother me, but he tells other women they're attractive all the time. or says so about them to others, including me. He won't for me even when I beg him to. He once enthusiastically gushed to his father about how beautiful and gorgeous another woman is. His father tried to say that my husband had a beautiful wife too, but my husband just sort of fell silent and awkwardly shrugged, staring at the floor. And he has never called me beautiful. When I was pregnant, I cried about it and asked him if he could think of one nice thing to say about me, and he couldn't. He insisted he still wants to be married, still wants to have sex with me, but like, why? He claims that he did not settle for me, and he claims that he's still attracted to me. He claims I'm his type, but in practice, his type is every woman who isn't me. Seriously, tall or short, skinny or thick, blonde or brunette, any ethnicity, they can all be worthy of being called beautiful just as long as they aren't me. I compliment my husband all the time, so it's not an issue of that. I go out of my way to say nice things. No matter how many times I talk to him about this issue, it doesn't change. He'll agree to work on it, and then he doesn't. And no, I didn't gain weight or anything. I'm the exact same size and shape as I was when we met. I put effort into my appearance without going overboard. I even managed to escape pregnancy relatively unscathed. My style is updated a bit with the times, but not in a way that has seriously changed my appearance. I don't exactly have a great-looking face or big boobs, but why marry me if that was such a deal breaker? I just don't understand it. It's destroyed my self-esteem over the years.
Cool.
He can't provide me with an explanation, so how do I come to terms with this?
So they are 33. They've been
Yes.
together for 12 years, which means they got together when they were 21, right?
Yep,
They've been married for 10. So that means they were married at 23.
correct.
I think this guy has some unacknowledged resentment towards his wife that just like,
He didn't get to experience.
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. So because they got
Their
together.
son wasn't born until they were
Even then, you're
27.
married. You're married. At 23 years old, you're married.
Yeah.
Like,
you're 24.
I know, dude. Can you imagine? Fuck. But I think for him, like, yes, it's fucked up. I think.
Oh yeah, that's
I think this whole situation is fucked. I understand that. But I mean, if he's into, if he was into her, like, she has to think about, okay, well, when you get pregnant, when you have a baby, your body changes. Things happen. Sometimes you get bigger. Sometimes, like, things don't fit the way they used to. My question goes to, is she taking care of herself? Is she, trying to work out? She's doing things that she used to do that he liked?
She just said yes to all that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was not listening. I'm sorry. I thought I was. So if she's doing all that, then I don't see the problem with it. I think he's just legitimately curious. Like, he just wants to go try things, but he knows he can't because he has, 1, a wife, and 2, a kid.
And I think that there's a lot of responsibilities that come with being a husband and having a kid. And I think that especially getting married so young causes you to miss out on experiences, and that just comes with the nature of it. And some people are willing to be okay with that. They're willing to say, no, I'm choosing this. This is what I want. I'm okay with not knowing, what being single in my 20s and looks like. Some people think they're okay with that, and then later on they find out that they're not, but they don't want to express it because it's not that they don't care about their wife, their family. It's not that they don't care about all that. It's just that they're really curious about that, and they're upset, normally directed at somebody that's not themselves. They're upset that they got to miss out on it, and it's that person's fault. Mm-hmm. It's that person's fault that they never got to experience all of that, even though it's a collective decision between the two of them. I would probably bet this person has narcissistic tendencies, and that they're very controlling in a non-direct way, but also that, like, and I say narcissistic in the way of she's asking him and begging him to compliment her. That's what she wants the most, and he's not going to give it to her because he can't. Because he's trying to make things so incredibly unbearable that she ends things with him, so he's not the bad guy, because that's a bad look on his part.
Yeah.
So I think that's the environment, that situation that he's trying to create, so he can go experience whatever he deep down needs to feel, he feels he needs to do, as opposed to just having the very difficult conversation with your wife, and then either A, being like, okay, you know where I'm coming from, I'm going to go do this, whatever, we're going to figure out whatever that means, or B, expressing it and then being like, okay, is there a way for me to get closure from this without having to, divorce, leave my family or whatever? Or B, after this conversation being like, okay, maybe this is something that I need to come to terms with that I'm just not going to get to experience. And that's okay, because he's the flip side of all this is that he's missing out on so much incredibly important and beautiful things in their own right. So he's missing out on all that because he's pouting about what he's not getting.
Yes. I have nothing else to say to that. Yeah, Matthew's right. I didn't see any of that, but it makes a lot of sense when Matthew says that. So I'm gonna go with the narcissistic thing. I agree. Because I don't think I have anything else I can add to that.
But for her, as direct advice for her to do,
she needs to make him talk.
Is that possible?
She said she's tried every time, and he says that he'll
her
work on it.
Well, her version of trying isn't working. So is it possible for them to fix it?
I would say the only real other way, and I really doubt that this would go anywhere, would be therapy, like couples therapy, to figure out what's going on, Because if she hasn't changed anything and, it's just not working, and you got to try everything,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that he, in order to not be the bad guy who divorces his wife, he's willing to be the guy that never compliments his wife when they both are a bad look.
It's fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, and then going on to our last one. My best friend got engaged about 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
We've been best friends for almost 15 years.
Nice.
And we knew our boyfriends were planning to ask us around the same time. We actually thought that mine was going to ask first, but my significant other had a specific idea and timing in mind. Nonetheless, I was so happy to be a part of her proposal and accept a maid of honor role. Now it's my turn, and I know my proposal will be happening within the next 2 months-ish. I happen to be super excited to be engaged at the same time. I think it's so cool that we can share this time together. She doesn't seem thrilled now that she is engaged. We used to talk about taking pics together with our rings, and now she seems to be almost mad that I'm also getting engaged. She seems reluctant to help my significant other like I did with hers, and she's also very snappy when it comes to me talking about my ring choice, when it used to be such a fun topic to discuss. She's planning to get married right away, and my partner and I rather would have a long engagement. She's going to do the whole extravagant wedding, and I want a small micro wedding. So it's not that her wedding spotlight will be taken away. We won't even be planning at the same time. So what's up? What's up? How do I navigate this?
This is some territory that I don't know how to come at.
Why not?
Well, I don't understand why she's being mean to her friend.
She's probably mad because she's not getting the spotlight or the attention that she thinks she deserves.
But
like now she has to share it. Like it's not her time to be engaged, and now instead of like these are like it seems like the friend that is already engaged wants it to be all about her, and that it's her time. She's waited for this, and the other friend is like, no, like I'm excited that we're engaged. We can like look at like wedding, like plan a wedding together, and like, hey, what are you gonna do for this, and bounce ideas off each other and talk and help each other plan these things. But the other one just seems very much like, no, I just want this to be about me.
Why do you think that wasn't the case before one of them got engaged?
Because we all like the idea of things, and then in reality, all these emotions and things start to come up that we didn't know that we necessarily had in the first place. And it might be like, think about how many times you guys try something and you thought that you would love it. Then you get there and you're like, this fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, no, in theory, this sounded really, really great, but I actually want this to be my time. And it's not going to be.
So if Matt, you have a very strong take on this and you have a very strong grasp on the situation, how would you explain this to Dalton in a language that he understands?
you get to meet Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are gonna take a picture, and you guys are gonna like have your lightsabers together, right?
Apprentice.
Yes, and you're
Cool.
very excited for it.
Yeah.
But when we get there, turns out that they were running out of time, and we need to go through it quick. So then they have me jump in, and we take this cool picture with Darth Vader like this, and then you have one lightsaber, and then I have another. We have this super cool picture of us with Darth Vader, but you never get to have a picture of just you and Darth Vader.
I'm sorry. That would never happen. Rule of 2. It's very common. We all know it.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
We
get
still
it.
have a cool fucking picture,
but it's not.
But you can never look at that picture
and not think of you
without seeing me.
Yeah, and knowing
with my pink lightsaber.
Yeah, I get it. I would be mad.
See, I think I would have akined it to you and Matt both want to be Siths, and this is before the rule of 2.
Okay.
So there's like Sidious is there, and you guys are both like these young Padawans, and you both want to be Darth Sidious's apprentice, and Sidious makes you his apprentice first. And he's like, dude, you're it. You're my guy. And you show up, and Matt's like super stoked for you. And you're now his apprentice. And then one day Sidious turns to you, he's like, hey, I'm thinking about making Matt an apprentice too. What do you think?
Now I don't get all the teachings. Now I have to share it with him. And then if he's better than me, then I'm going to be more mad. And
I didn't even think about that. I guess there's a whole competition aspect of it.
It's competitive. Whose is better? Who is better? Why are they better? How do I get better?
But I feel like that's taken out, though, because they have two very different weddings. One's going to be extravagant, the other one's going to be super small.
But, I mean, at the same time, it's still...
But you had a big party when they made you apprentice.
Yeah.
And now Matt and like everyone was like super jazzed about it. Everyone was talking to you, and everyone was like, dang, Matt Dalton's the new apprentice. He's like the guy. And now they're about to have this whole big party for Matt. And now they're going to start calling Matt the guy. And he's going to be the big boy around town.
Yep.
And you're just going to be another apprentice.
Just another one.
I wouldn't like that at all.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it. You're both Siths now.
Well, I mean, if I can kill him, then I wouldn't.
Matt would never be a Sith.
I would not. I'm too nice.
You guys are like the brothers from Knights of the Old Republic.
I'd fucking win, though.
Which brothers?
From the cinematic trailer.
The troopers?
No, they were Jedi.
Were they Jedi? It's not real, dude. Fucking figure it out.
I think that's just a conversation, and I think just
and I also don't think that conversation will go well.
No, I think I feel like once she expresses herself and how she feels, I think they can come to a conclusion.
It all depends on the maturity for that one. I don't know. I don't think it would go well, to be honest.
Yeah. All right, if you made it this far into the podcast, thank you so much for your time. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating and a review wherever you listen to this. And if you're here on YouTube, thank you so much for your eyes. Go ahead and click the subscribe button down below and the bell notification icon in the corner. And everybody stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, I'm Drumm.
And I'm Drummer.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye. That was a good one, dude. That was a good ending. That was very smooth.